Hello, welcome pen friends. My name is Chris and I'm back with another video. In fact, this will be my first major update about my inky situation, which we're now calling Summer Ink Down. Hashtag Summer Ink Down over on Instagram. And it's been a very productive week, so I wanted to let you know how it was going. So just as a little recap, I found myself in the situation of having 451 ink samples, and as a reviewer that's good, but I also had kind of lost control of my organization, and I'm not really structured for that many. I actually have enough really good capacity and space in my shell boxes and in my trays for 330, so I had just exceeded, it kind of blown up on me there. And you know, I did find out during this week quite a bit of the reason why as I go through. So I wanted to show you first of all that I have emptied 24 vials, and I'm really excited about that. I found quite a few cases where there were two, you know, with a little bit in it, and also cases where I already have a full bottle, so I already had a sample in that tray, because I have a tray full of little samples that I fill from, and that's my full, I call it my full bottle tray. So anyway, 24 are empty, and that's, you know, that's a little drop in the bucket compared to the whole total there. That brings me down to 427. But then there's this bucket here. These are the ones that I have found in going through most of the color categories. I still have blue and purple left. I'll explain about that in a minute. But these are the ones where there's less than 2 mils left, and I've already profiled them. So that leaves kind of a little bit of a gray area, because it wasn't just a drop or two, so I may use them for art, I'm not sure, but and that leads me to my next point. Anyway, they don't need to be in the shell boxes, and they don't need to be in the trays, because I already have them in my ink journal already categorized. I know what they look like, and you know, there's not enough anyway. In the case if I haven't profiled it, you have to have at least 2 mils in my opinion to really do a fairly good job. So that leads me to what I discovered, which I think is valuable for all of us. I discovered two kind of barriers or stumbling blocks that could have been what put me in this position with the, you know, the disorganization and stuff. One of the things I found out was this indecision about, you know, well, it's not very much in there, and I've already reviewed it. I really kind of like it. I might use it for art. You know, it's this wavery indecision. And if I'm going to use it for art, then I need some storage decision and a place for it, because that has helped me a lot, you know, with organizing, is have a place for it, have a limit on, you know, like a tray or a pouch or something, and have it with the stuff that you're going to use it with. Because if I do that, then I'm more likely to use it for that intended purpose, and it isn't all mixed in with what I need. I need super organization in my ink samples, so that as I'm studying a new ink, I can compare them for you and get it onto the profile. And you know, that whole thing of being indecisive about what happens to the ink sample toward the end of its stay with me, that's been kind of the sticking point there. So that's good, because you can't fix what you don't acknowledge or understand is going on. The other thing is something I've kind of known about for a long time, and that's perfectionism. You know, well, if I can't do it perfectly, forget it, or I just don't get started. Well, this is a project that it's ongoing, just like, you know, laundry and anything else. You know, it kind of just can't be done once. It's got to be, there has to be a system for ongoingly, you know, maybe each week. Like, you know, I can have a little, a bucket to put them into, and then at the end of the week, I must not let it get past that point, and that kind of thing, where I have to decide, is there enough of this ink left to put into the shell box or the tray, or does it go in my art journal stuff? Things like that. So, indecision and perfectionism, those are some things I got to watch out for. So, I wanted to talk about kind of my overall, now that I've done quite a bit of this and gotten into it, my overall goal is to have fewer than 300, especially since I'm really set up for 330, and I'd like a little wiggle room. So that kind of gives me right off the bat that, you know, I have to get rid of 151 or you know, approximately. But it's okay to have fewer than that. That's fine. It's not the end of the world if I had to reorder one that I really like, but I don't want a whole bottle of it. That's not the end of the world. And there are friends that I can trade with and so on. So Oh, and I now have a target date to finish this. It'll be August 30th. I want it, really to be able to say I have this under control, and I have each category. I've got kind of 12 subcategories with the colors, and I've assigned more than one for blue, because I've got the bright blues and turquoises, and then I've got the dark blues, almost blue-black. And I may be able to actually turn it into a purely blue-black category before I'm through, because I'm feeling a lot more confident now about getting it organized. And then purple. I have a separate place for pink and magenta, but purple, wow. So I think I estimated 140 blue inks and 75 the purple. That's just a rough estimate based on the trays that I have. And so those two color categories are going to take the longest. And they're my favorite inks too, so it's probably going to be harder to let go even of a little bit of those. But I'm also, I don't have it right here. I have a blue tray like this full of ink vials. I don't know, there must be 15 in there now that I'm going to be giving away. So I will figure that out as I go. But that I have discovered there's enough of it to share with someone, but I don't, it's just either overwhelming, or I'm sure that I'm not going to use that color and I've already reviewed it. And that's, so some of that indecision is starting to melt with the order, because I think bringing order to a collection like this is important, whether you're a reviewer or not, really. And, it's just extra important for me, because if I can't lay my hands on a color, or I forget that I have it, then that doesn't really help. So I think that's pretty much what I wanted to say. I'm really excited about this. Oh, and as I go, what I'll end up with is a little blue tray with each color with, the corresponding index and the vial of the ones I have not profiled. And that's the point when we get to start voting again. I don't want to do just like brown after brown after brown. Brown is now what I call finished. These are the brown inks I have not profiled. These are the ones that I have and that are sort of there's enough left for me to dip my serendipity to write with, to compare with. This has less to do, I think the shell boxes have less to do with my reviewing, and more to do with my own private letter writing and, pen paling and stuff like that. So, but I think that's really a good way to go about it. And I've got some more categories over here. I've got green and pink and magenta are pretty well contained too. But like I said, blue and purple are going to give me a run for their money, because there's just so many. And I've got to go through all of those and make sure I have 2 mils of each one, that it wasn't some ink that I'd ordered a long time ago and used most of it. And that has come up a few times. So, not to overwhelm you, just to encourage you that if you want to organize anything you have, whether it's these tiny little ink sample vials or whatever, you just have to start and forget about perfectionism. Forget about indecision. It's going to come up, and then you'll be aware. You'll realize, and you'll say, oh, this is why this hasn't gotten done before now. And those are just the first 2 things I've discovered. I'm kind of sure there's going to be more things that pop up, especially when I get into blue and purple, because that's going to test me. It's going to seem like, oh my gosh, there's just so many. So I'm going to keep on working, and I am going to still do ink profiles. I didn't do another ink profile this week past that first one there, because I really wanted to get out that Lamy Next review. I guess we'd call it, a fountain pen review. I wanted to get that out, and I've been knee deep in these ink samples anyway all week, and I thought, let me just keep going here, and then I'll get one for next week. And then, there'll be at some point where you'll be seeing more ink profiles. But I am trying to balance the content too. So, and look forward to the Sunday Fun series is all on track. It's scheduled to release on Sunday, so that'll be there. That's about stickers, just a little heads up. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. And I really appreciate all the encouragement. There were so many encouraging comments after I did the first one, when I kind of confessed the inky situation here and said I had to stop all incoming samples. I was kind of worried, but not after I read the comments. You guys really do get it, and I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for the encouragement, both here and on Instagram. I appreciate it. So I'm going to let you go now, and because there's a lot of good videos to watch. Seems like Friday's a good night. I like to go watch Wasky Squirrel. I got a couple other people that I like to watch too. And So I kind of get it, like, you know, if the content isn't there when we expect it. So I have it from both sides. I'm a viewer and I'm a YouTuber. So I'll see you next time. Now I'm just rambling. Bye for now.